that Pierson was returning back to this town in Illinois. He's going to pick up the children, and once he gets the children, they're all going to go off together, be a big family.
Okay.
So once he gets into town and he picks the children up, he sent one of the kids to the bank to withdraw some money from Eicher's account. However, the bank said the check was forged, and therefore they would not cash the check, which was in the amount of $4,000. Empty-handed, the child returns. A disappointed Pierson told suspicious neighbors, who were wondering, where the new wife was, that he was taking the wife and kids on a trip. They were going to go to Europe. They were going to be spending several months there. They were going to be gone for an extended period. They were going to be going away. The Eicher family basically goes missing from Illinois and never writes back to friends and family that they leave behind.
Who the hell sends a kid to the bank to get $4,000?
Apparently, old Cornelius. Well, a few weeks after Pierson picked up the kids, he shows back up at the family home with movers. He clears out the home's possessions like furniture, anything in there that might be worth some money. While he's there, a police officer even came by to question Pierson, but he said his family was visiting Colorado, that he had purchased this house from Eicher, and that he claimed he was planning to move into the house, that he's getting out all of this furniture that belonged to the family. He doesn't want it, and he's moving in. He's going to bring his own furniture. He's going to become a resident of Park Ridge.
Okay,
so he spins this big story to the cops about he's actually going to be moving into this house. Relatives grow concerned. They haven't heard from Eicher, the children. I mean, it's been some time. And she goes off with this stranger. The kids leave. I mean, he's clearing out her house.
From their point of view, he's the old family friend and a guy they really just don't know at all, right?
Yeah, and they're just worried because they know by now they would have gotten a letter, a postcard, something.
Yeah.
So they go to the police with the story of this charming new man from West Virginia who left with the four. And though Powers was not conventionally attractive, his letters and correspondence proved to be very romantic.
So he's got the personality.
He knew how to write letters, to woo these women, to say the types of things that they would want to hear.
Girl, you look so good in that potato sack dress.
A period after the Eicher family fiasco, Harry Powers began a long-distance relationship with a woman named Dorothy Pressler Lemke. She was from Massachusetts. He's writing her letters. They've got this grand romantic correspondence happening. So after a period of courtship, he goes to Massachusetts to visit her, to meet up with her. Of course, again, telling his wife he's away on business.
God, this guy.
While in Massachusetts, he asks her to come to Iowa, where they would marry. She withdrew $5,000 from her bank account and then cashed out $8,000 in stocks.
How these people got so much money back then?
She told friends and family she was moving to her new man's large farm in Iowa, where they were going to get married, and she would live there. But instead of sending her trunks to Iowa, Powers mailed them to Cornelius O. Pierson in Fairmont, West Virginia. And Dorothy Lemke, much like the Eicher family, disappeared without a trace. Never to be heard from again.
The hell's he doing with these women and kids?
It's a good question, Dylan. By now, authorities have begun looking into the disappearance of the Eicher family.
So they've not been, all this time, nobody's heard a word from them. Kids didn't turn up anywhere, just gone.
A search of the family's home revealed a collection of letters exchanged between Asta Eicher and Cornelius O. Pierson, which were postmarked from a Clarksburg, West Virginia address. Authorities figure out the letters are being sent to an identical address owned by a Harry Powers. And they talk to the postmaster, who confirms he knows Harry Powers has rented this post office box, but is receiving large amounts of mail addressed to Cornelius O. Pierson.
Ah, he's dialed them out.
Concluding the name Cornelius O. Pierson must be a fake identity, but with no other real evidence, the authorities bring in Harry Powers for questioning. Now, during this interview, he had no real excuse to offer the police about the letters, the correspondence, the fake identity.
Well, yeah, I just don't even know what you would say. How you'd explain it away.
Well, he said the Eichers' whereabouts were unknown to him, as he had put her and the children on a train to Colorado, where she had decided to marry a different man, a guy named Charles Rogers.
You think he's real?
We're about to find out.
Okay.
Fasten your seatbelt over there.
Arms and legs inside the ride at all times.
While on his property, they search the home and that crude basement type of structure that's kind of like a bunker.
That's kind of creepy as hell.
Where they find what they are sure has been a crime scene. The concrete building had rooms divided into small cells, each with a locking door. They also found a trap door which led to a dark, narrow tunnel which went all the way out to a nearby creek.
Oh, God.
Now, in the structure, they find a stash of bloody clothes, including women's clothing and children's items.
That's never a good sign.
A bloody footprint and a partially burned bank book. They also find another area of the property, kind of like outside the tunnel area near that creek.
Yeah.
Where there is a large mound of dirt, appearing to be freshly dug.
Oh, no.
Authorities began digging in the daylight on Powers' property. Neighbors and other curiosity seekers stopped by the property to see what's happening.
Yeah, well,
this is a big deal.
Well, there's not a lot going on around there. You know what I mean? Just from every day. Even nowadays, if you see 10 cop cars at your neighbor's house, you're going to try to edge around there and see what's going on.
Well, they join in the search. With dozens of people on the farm aiding in the search, 5 bodies are uncovered on Powers' property. Stuffed into burlap sacks, the bodies of 2 adult females are found with rope around their necks, both seemingly dying of strangulation. The 2 young girl children belonging to Eicher were strangled by hand, and the boy had been bludgeoned with a hammer.
My God.
A bundle of love letters and correspondence were found in the trunk of Powers' car, detailing his relationships with many women, most of whom were widowed or had some sum of money or property, which he clearly wanted to retain for himself.
What a monster.
News of the murders spread fast across West Virginia, quickly gaining national attention with the Lonely Hearts Killer headline. Some people nicknamed Powers the Bluebeard Killer of Quiet Dells.
Bluebeard? Wonder why.
I guess because he's older?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
He willingly confessed to the killings. He said he was neither proud nor ashamed of his actions. He recounted the details as though they were just another part of his mundane day, such as brushing his teeth or drinking a cup of coffee. Psychiatrists were brought in to examine his odd behavior. A criminalist and a lawyer wrote that there was nothing about his demeanor to evoke any suspicion that Powers was a brutal murderer.
So he's just...
They also noted his just lack of any kind of feeling about the murders. Was very casual in discussing it. So some of the psychiatrists said they believed he was a psychopath.
Well, yeah, I think he definitely must have been, right? To be able to do that and just carry on his wife none the wiser, I guess, bringing people back to their property and disposing of them, kids even.
Writing all these love letters to all of these different women. That's going to be time consuming. Yeah. And how do you sneak around and hide love letter writing?
I don't know. He must have never been around his regular wife.
The trial was a spectacle. As many crimes became a form of entertainment during the Great Depression, this one drew a huge crowd. With many spectators hoping to view the trial, they had to set up a mock courtroom at a local opera house to accommodate the overflow.
Wow.
Angry citizens formed a lynch mob and threatened to murder the child killer Powers. People were very upset.
Well, that's pretty brutal.
Law enforcement had to use a high-pressure hose that they borrowed from the fire department to spray the angry crowd of attackers that had formed outside the jail, wanting to kill him.
Damn. High-pressure hose will knock your ass all over the place.
The trial took less than a week, with the jury finding Powers guilty. He was sentenced to die at the Moundsville State Penitentiary in West Virginia. On March 18th, 1932, Powers was hanged for his crimes.
Ah, they didn't waste any time, did they?
His wife Luella claimed to have no knowledge of Powers' activities or the crimes. She was not charged in any of the murders.
Do you believe her?
It's hard to say. I mean, I just feel like if your husband obviously is spending that much time away from you, tending to these other deeds and traveling for business.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Especially when he's working in your grocery store, like what kind of business is he traveling on? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I keep forgetting he's not even a traveling salesman anymore.
It's just kind of odd. I don't know.
Yeah, what the hell business trip are you taking?
But then again, you have a killer like BTK.
Right.
And Dennis Rader's wife swears she had no idea what was happening.
Well, the Iceman's family, right?
Leading like a double life.
Didn't have any idea. Well, he was obviously a super hitman for the mafia.
But then again, maybe she did know because she was also benefiting financially from her husband's deeds. So I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe she's just glad he was off somewhere doing something else.
That is the question, Dylan, and you may be right. Now, if you're interested in checking out a movie loosely based on this story, there is a classic film starring Robert Mitchum called Night of the Hunter, which is based on a book by Davis Grubbs that was inspired by the Powers story.
Wow.
So you can check out that film and kind of see, a bit of, I guess, the plot in action.
I want to see it.
Well, we can see it.
Can I watch it, please? Can we watch it?
We can find it.
Okay.
That has been the case of Harry Powers.
Harry was a sadistic monster. Okay.
Whatever. The Lonely Hearts Killer. There have been quite a few of those over the years.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you hear about modern dating that goes awry.
Well, yeah.
Meeting people online and then they murder you. But
I think there was one not long ago on one of those.
This is nothing new.
They met, I think it was two people met this one person and killed them. Set them up using one of those Twitter, or not Twitter, but Tinder or something like that. Yeah, wasn't that long ago. So, well, yeah, anytime you open yourself up to perfect strangers in any form or fashion, it can turn out very horribly. But, I mean, this guy going around the country and basically collecting women and children, he had a choice. He's talking to all these different women, right? He could have just as easily said, I'm only going to pick a widower or someone has no kids. But he didn't even give a damn. If he reeled them on in and they happened to have some kids, he didn't care.
He's like, fuck them kids.
I'll get rid of them too.
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine what those kids, that they're on this trip with this freaking guy they barely know, and how far along it went before they realized this is not good?
That would be very horrible.
Horrible. It could have been extended over days. I mean, that's just horrible to even think of.
And see, I was the kind of sassy little kid, and I don't know about you, but even if my mama, because my mother wasn't like that by any stretch, but let's just say my mama brought some weird guy over and was like, kiss your stepdaddy, or something like that, and then, left with this man, and then he came back for me.
Oh, no.
Even as a little kid, I would have been like, hell no.
Yeah.
I would have pitched one hell of a fit. I'm not going to go with you. I don't know you.
Yeah, I started letting the neighbors know.
I wouldn't have gone with this guy.
Just imagine the neighbors.
It was a different time, and I guess, we're brats, too.
Well, and it was very heavily whatever the guy says goes kind of shit, even when the cops show up and ask questions, or if a friendly neighbor comes and they tell them this is it, they believe the guy, unfortunately, back then.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a great case. It was something a little different from what we've covered.
I've never heard that anywhere.
And not a widely known story.
Harry Powers. But
again, Lonely Hearts Killer. And it makes me think of Belle Gunness. She was a pretty infamous serial killer as well, who met her victims through placing these personal advertisements.
Oh, yeah. She would say, don't tell anyone where you're going. Liquidate your estate, basically. Bring it on your person. And I will show you the time of your life.
Yes.
And then she feeds them to the hogs.
Right.
Yeah.
So both similar in that they are gold diggers looking to kill some people and take their money.
And they have no problem lying to people.
None
just flat out. Doesn't bother them a bit and they don't feel a bit bad about it.
It made me think of something. The Lonely Hearts ads. we need to tell